Gorbachev, as director of the Center for Soviet-American Dialogue that represents the grassroots citizen diplomats throughout the United States, we have just completed a very successful citizen summit in
Why is this woman, a normal, private U.S. citizen, standing in front of one of the world's great leaders, the head of the Soviet Union? Who is this woman? Housewife, mother, grandmother, yoga teacher, being greeted and acknowledged so warmly by Mr. Gorbachev?
I would like to welcome all of you who have come from every corner of the United States and from many of the institutions and organizations from throughout the Soviet Union. This is so unprecedented.
What is this woman's vision? What are her ideals? What has catalyzed her energies to help create a new force in our rapidly changing world?
As citizens of the world, of the planet, we can and we are making a difference. Thank you.
What changed her from a normal housewife to become involved and active as the director of an influential and successful grassroots private citizens organization? And what does her work, her methods, her techniques have to do with making our daily lives richer, more effective, harmonious, and empowered?
Citizen diplomacy cannot just be applied to the people of other nations or of other cultures or of other nationalities or religions, but citizen diplomacy is something that we must apply to the leaders within our own nation, to the people within our own community, and more important and even more difficult, it must be applied to the members within our own family and to those within our own home.
What is a citizen diplomat? A citizen diplomat is a world citizen. It is one who has the ability to transcend their own personal, ideological, political boundaries to see the oneness of all of humanity and who believes in human unity. And a citizen diplomat is one who is able to hold 2 points of view simultaneously. One who is able to empathize with the perspective of another without denying his or her own values. It is one who can listen to this perspective of another without judging and without feeling that this person is wrong and that they are right. To do this, it requires a tremendous amount of self-esteem and a personal sense of self-identity. Because there is a difference between judgment and discrimination. In discrimination, we compare, or actually, we just see the differences. In the Sanskrit language, there is a term maya, which many in America refer to as illusion. But if you break it down by the verbal roots in Sanskrit, ma means to measure, and ya means the extreme form of measurement. When you measure, you have to have a yardstick of measurement. You have to have distance. You have to have space between 2 points for that measurement. And in that space is created separation. Because to measure, we create comparisons. And in those comparisons, we create judgments. We create the hierarchical field that one is better than the other. And a citizen diplomat is one who is able to transcend those boundaries of judgments, to actually see inside and behind the eyes of another. And when we can do that, there is no need even for words. Because as we can truly understand and feel what another person is feeling, they immediately get it. They know, and they respond accordingly. A citizen diplomat is a spiritual warrior. It is one who can face their fear long enough to step upon the battlefield of life and all the polarities that life has to hold, from the darkness to the light, from the expansion to the contraction, and holding that balance between the feminine and the masculine. A citizen diplomat is like that spiritual warrior who has the 360-degree peripheral visions of continual vigilance, but finding that peace within. For peace is not just a state, it's not a state of doing, but peace is a process, and it is a continual process, and it is a state of being. A spiritual warrior is one who has the courage to stand upon the edge of the cliff, facing the chasms of darkness, knowing that the side is there, the other side, and that he or she can take that quantum leap to reach that other side. And a spiritual warrior, the citizen diplomat, is one who knows that they must serve. And they are one who is willing to go through the fires of initiation to create that service. And I speak from experience. And those times when you're there on the edge of that cliff, it takes faith to take that step. And knowing that there is a universal support, there is an invisible hand that will reach out to hold you at that moment that you make that decision. And when we are that spiritual warrior on the edge of that cliff, we look behind us to see the path that we have just trod. And we look for ways to turn back. But each time we turn around, we see that the path is closed and there is no way back. And yet we cannot see the way forward. And it takes a great deal of courage on our part to make that leap into the unknown. And that has been, for me, the deepest inner journey. Now, the journey that took me to the Soviet Union was totally accidental. It is something I would never have chosen for myself. Because until 1984, I had believed my entire life, as the first great master of yoga who ever came to the United States in the 1800s for the World Parliament of Religion said, "The world is like the kink of a dog's tail." And as Vivekananda continued to say, as long as you are holding it, you think that it is straight, but the moment you let go, it just kinks up again. So this was my philosophy. So instead I decided at that time to look for the peace within myself and to find that within myself, because I felt the greatest gift that I could give to the world would be my own inner peace. And that peace which I could then extend out to the members of my own nuclear family and into my own community and into the state, into the nation, and then ultimately into the world. And even in hearing the fears of my children over the fact that they may never grow up. They were reading, they were hearing on television of the threat of a nuclear war, they were hearing it from their friends. And so at night when I would tuck them into bed, they would express their fears, and I would say, "Have no fears. Our government would never let anything like that happen."